Hello there, friends, and welcome back to more Bravely Default. Last time, we awakened the water and fire crystals, and Ringabel regained his entire memory, fully confirming that he is truly Alternus Dim, but from the world before our original one, which from this point onward, I will just refer to every chapter and world as World 5, which is our original world, World 4, which is the world we were just at, and this current world is World 3. But speaking of Ringabel's memories, there was also some dark visions involving Eri and a countdown. So today, we're going to be heading to Sage Juliana's Needleworks to hopefully gain some clarification on what this all means. And maybe we can isolate Agnes and reveal this potentially grim information to her personally. So, we're here at the Needleworks. Let's go ahead and head inside.
I thought I heard something. This place draws few visitors, I fear. And who might you be?
I am Agnes Oblige, vessel of the wind.
Ho ho! Little Agnes, is it? My, how you have grown, child. You were scarce more than a little sprout when your predecessor brought you here. Now look at you, a fine woman you've become. Fine and plump and pleasantly jiggly. Why the long face? If there is anything this feeble old man can do for you, name it.
Sage, do you remember me at all?
Well, you'd better come inside. Now then, I was about to pour some tea for us. But I fear this may not be the time for sitting quietly with a hot brew.
Sage.
Let me ask you this. If I bade you come with just one other, would you know why?
Yes.
Well, this is quite astonishing. To think such events were even possible. Very well then. I will spare you the details and keep this simple. You must decide who is your most trustworthy ally. Then travel to the nearby cave with them. You will find it to the southwest of here. I shall go on ahead. I would advise you to heed my words. You must bring only one ally with you. Your other companion should wait outside the cave. I shall see you soon.
Well, that's a familiar prospect. At least he's sparing us the information, and we don't have to wonder who Agnes is going to pick. Just real quick, if you need any items or armor or whatnot, you can go get them here. I haven't mentioned it yet, but there are no new items in World 3 here. World 4 gave us the most recent items. So, I don't think there's any reason for us to dawdle here. Let's go ahead and just head towards Vestment Cave. Real quick, I do want to go ahead and mention something. The sub-scenarios here, some of them I'm going to be avoiding for a little bit because I want to see this little arc to its conclusion, and I don't really want to divert attention away. There will be a few sub-scenarios we do in between this segment, just because I think it's really important. But I just want to go ahead and mention that if you felt like this whole segment right here is going a little fast, that's because I just want to get all this information out as soon as possible because I think it's really, really important for the future of this game. So, let's go ahead and head inside.
have all the fun. I am sorry, Aerie. I hope you can understand. Go on, get going already.
We'll be back soon.
Give the master my regards.
Ringabel and Nadia have left the party. It's nice to see that Ringabel still regards Sage Ilyana as his master, even after finding out that he's part of the Council of Six. But I mean, I guess that since the Sage has helped with stopping the roots of corruption and the Orthodoxy, I could understand why he still has a huge admiration for him. Anyhow, there is one note of information that we need to cover while we're here in Vestment Cave, as there actually is a blue chest, as you can see on the map here. So let's go ahead and grab that, and then we'll just head straight away into where Sage is. I am very curious to see what information he has for us. Luminous Robe. Especially since he was definitely holding out on some information the first time around. Luminous Robe enhances the wearer's light attacks to do 50% more damage. And it gives us quite a bit of physical defense and magic attack. It doesn't have the greatest magical defense stat, but that's okay. I don't think I'll equip that right now. Light damage is not something I'm really focusing on, but that is something that if you want to wear it, go right ahead. So, I'll see you at the Sage's place.
There you are. Ah, so this is the one you have chosen. I envy him. You make a fine pair. Were I 1,880 years young?
You're not ready to lay down and die yet. We know.
Do you?
And I'm the very image of the angel you encountered 1,880 years ago.
Oh, I see. I've already spoken of such matters, have I? Now, tell me, why have you two come to me again?
I wanted to be alone with Agnes.
What?
You little devil, you!
Huh? No! I didn't mean it like that! At least in the way I think you're thinking!
'Tis, was it? I thought you a lost cause, but it seems you've some fire inside you. Look, she's blushing. Put the girl out of her misery with a big kiss on the lips.
Please, I'm trying to be serious here.
Tis.
No, I'm telling you, I really didn't mean it like that.
Then what did you mean?
Ringabel regained his memory, and not just part of it this time.
He did? When was this?
Just a short time ago. I'm the only one he's told so far. But he wanted me to tell you something in private. Something he remembered.
In private? I did not think Ringabel to be the sort of man to mistrust his comrades.
I believe he had his reasons.
But what could he possibly remember that would warrant such secrecy?
Before we get to that, I'd like to ask the sage about that angel he encountered.
Of course. I will tell all that I know.
Did the angel mention anything to you other than the crystals?
Other than the crystals? Yes, I believe her words were, I was deceived by the evil one. Her voice was heavy with regret.
The evil one?
This evil one used deceit to drive the four crystals out of control. That tore the barrier between worlds, she said, opening a way to the world beyond. No!
And was this a hypothetical future she saw?
The angel and her two comrades had stood before that evil in battle that day. It was after her allies were slain that the creature boasted of what it would do. She spoke to me with lifeless eyes drowned in tears.
What then?
As the angel faded before my eyes, she said to me, "Deliver unto me this pendant when next I return to you. And should I appear before you with the evil one, hesitate not to do what you must to us."
You speak of this pendant.
And was this evil one the angel spoke of with us when we first came to you?
Yes, I dare say so.
Then,
I could not do it. I could not, knowing I would have to slay you, Vestal. Precious girl.
I see. Then, to remove all doubt from the matter, I ask you now, this evil one.
stop! I wish to hear no more!
Agnes,
I cannot bear to hear of matters so dreadful. For if what you say is true, then
forgive me. I never wished to put you in this position. But I cannot believe Ringabel would lie to me. And not about something like this. That's why.
You trust Ringabel then?
I do. I trust Ringabel, along with Edea, and you too, Agnes. I trust you all.
Very well. Then I shall trust in him too.
Thank you. We ought to be returning to the others now, Sage.
You be careful now. Ah, and before you go, there is another matter. One Lord De Rosso and I have studied this last millennium. Were you aware that should a crystal be destroyed, it will eventually regenerate?
What? Truly?
So long as its core remains, it can grow once more through the power of mortal hopes and dreams. The passing of thousands of years will see it grow to its original size and power.
And this crystalline core you speak of?
You need look no further than the pendant about your neck, my dear.
What? This stone?
A rather fine gift, wouldn't you say? I'm so delighted to see you kept it safe.
Sage.
Now, I must leave you, but not without a word of advice. Have the courage to think and act on your own. And have the courage to disobey.
Let's head back and talk to Ringabel and Edea. I don't want to discuss any information we got from the Sage here until we have told them everything we know.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
That old fart hasn't filled your head with strange thoughts, has he, Agnes? Eri, you needn't worry about me. He did me no harm. But I'm a Christ fairy, bound body and soul to the Vestals. Of course I worry. And yet, you've been pushing me away lately.
Christfairy or not, you've no right to interfere in another's life.
What? Wait, what? What?
Hang on!
What?
So, Tiz, how was it?
Fine. Couldn't have gone better.
Couldn't have gone... What's going on between you two? Come on, Agnes, out with it!
Say no more, Tiz.
No, do say more. What's going on here? Yes, inquiring minds want to know. Agnes and Tiz, are you two really... No, that's not...
Yes, that's exactly it. Isn't it, Agnes?
You mustn't encourage them, Tiz.
This is great. Been some time since we've had any good news.
Excellent cover story there, Tiz. Now that that moment of levity is gone, I want to go ahead and discuss everything that we know now. Just so you know, the rest of this episode will not have any combat or exploration within it. It's mostly just going to be a discussion episode since we haven't had a lot of time to just sit down and mold through everything. First things first, I want to go ahead and talk about Agnes a little bit and her opinions about what's been going on. While I'm doing this, I'm going to be navigating around buying some items and whatnot. So the first thing I want to talk about is Agnes struggling to believe the current theory that we might have a traitor in our midst. And there are a lot of people who do not like the fact that Agnes is really difficult to convince when it comes to all of the evidence supporting the fact that Eri may not be our greatest ally in this endeavor. And honestly, I don't agree with that at all. Agnes is someone who... She's a Vestal. Crystalism and the Orthodoxy are everything that she knew before going on this adventure. And Eri represents everything that Agnes holds dear. She's a Christ Fairy. She's someone who, you know, Christ Fairies are known to aid in the Vestal's journey throughout their entire lives. Having the idea that Eri may not be who she claims to be is something that I doubt she would believe very quickly, especially since throughout this entire second half of the adventure, Agnes has had to question everything about what she knew about the Orthodoxy up to this point. She has not had a great time, and her faith and her belief has been questioned multiple times. I find it very easy to understand why she would want to hold on to this last remnant of what she believes to be true close to her heart. But I do believe that she's making the right choice in believing her allies and her friends, and at least not immediately dismissing this theory outright. But that's enough about Agnes for right now. I want to go ahead and look at Norende Village real quick. I think we are done with the Falcon Knife. Yes, we are. Alright, there we go. So, that village is maxed out at level 11. Let's go ahead and just grab... let's go ahead and go grab the Foxtail from the Cape Parts shop. This is another good weapon. It'll take another hour or so. Unfortunate. But I want to go ahead and head into the D's Journal, where we have a few things that I want to talk about. For one, we have officially confirmed that Ringabel is an Alternus from another world. So if we look at the enigmatic writings, which, again, I showed off a lot throughout the first few dozen episodes or so, this is the writing of Ringabel from World 6. And it makes a lot of sense why certain things didn't really add up from our events shown in the game itself. The most obvious being, right down here, Ringabel, or Alternus from World 6, is the person who ends up hanging around Egil and saving him from Kata and slavery. And he is the one that is shown the gate to the Underflow, not the Agnes and crew. And it obviously conflicts with the events shown at World 5, which is the main game. But we now know exactly why, because Ringabel from that world was the one who met Egil. Ringabel from that world was the one who went and slayed boars with Owen, with Owen. And it's, you know, it showcases a lot of it's excellent foreshadowing. I guess that's the best way. That's the thing I'm trying to say, is that if you went into the D's Journal and you read these writings as you were playing through the game or preemptively, it is really, really cool, because you might have a general idea if you read it at the very beginning of the game. You might have a general idea of what is coming in the game, and then be surprised whenever that's not how things went down. But if you read it as you were playing through the game and kind of like crossing off these events as you saw them, you would be very, very confused as these events are starting to deviate as you get closer and closer to the end of Chapter 4. It's really cool. The second scenario is exactly how I played through the game. As I finished each chapter, I would go into the D's Journal and I would read that segment. And I got very confused as we approached Chapter 4, as the events were basically completely different. But with that information, we were also able to cross-reference with Alternus' journal from World 5, and see what was similar with the asterisks, and see what was different, and how our events in our initial world changed how certain chapters played out, especially with Chapter 3 in Egil. How the Alternus of this world never even met Egil. It's really, really cool. There are a few notes and information that I also want to go over real quick. As you progress through the game, I mentioned way back that you would get new pages on each character as new events and story beats were uncovered. And that's the case here. There's so much information about each of these characters that you can go through and update as you progress through the game. There are obviously points where it will stop, but it is very important. Especially with Ringabel's last few entries, we can see that he puts a lot of trust in Tiz specifically, and is willing to tell him about his visions. My personal opinion on why he trusts Tiz more than anyone else is because Idia would probably not believe him if Ringabel told her about the deaths of his allies. And Agnes, obviously, as I said, is struggling with her beliefs and would not be the most reliable person to tell that her closest belief in her orthodoxy is not exactly what they may seem. Obviously, that is still not fully proven, but it's the best we've got. And so, that leaves Tiz. In terms of everything else, there are some extra information if you want to re-look at some of the Vampire Gallery paintings. They're here in the D's Journal. I won't be going over any of that in this video. I just wanted to go ahead and point out those extra pieces of information and my opinions on what's been going on. But that's pretty much it for today. It was a lot of new information and revelations that I wanted to showcase. So, next time on Bravely Default, if you look at the bottom right screen in the map, you can see that there is a sub-scenario right here in the Needleworks. Sage Ilyana has a quest for us, and I think we'll go ahead and see that through. So, with that said, I'll see you soon.